Right now, while most adults complain about the economy, teenagers are quietly becoming millionaires. Yeah, you heard that right, millionaires in 2025. And no, this isn't some fantasy, not a feel-good motivational speech. It's happening in real time while you're sitting there scrolling your phone. Reality check. These kids aren't waiting for college. They're not waiting for permission. They're building empires from their bedrooms. No suits, no fancy offices, no investors. They're using skills that didn't even exist 5 years ago. AI automation, short-form content, e-commerce, copywriting, digital branding, and they're scaling faster than most corporations. But here's the thing, it's not about luck. It's about awareness. They've simply realized that the world has flipped. Today, attention is a currency. Skills are leverage. And the ones who move fast, win fast. While others waste years preparing, these teens are executing. They're learning, adapting, experimenting, failing fast, and hitting 6 figures before they're old enough to rent a car. Because in this new world, speed beats everything. Education, experience, and even talent. Now, let's look at the other camp, the ones who'll never make it. They spend 6 hours a day scrolling TikTok. They laugh, they argue in comment sections, and convince themselves they'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and before they know it, the kid sitting next to them in math class just bought his first car in cash. That's the gap. Not between rich and poor, between awake and asleep. Most people are sleepwalking through opportunity. They think the economy is their enemy, when in reality, their habits are. The truth is, money hasn't disappeared. It's just changed hands. It moved online. It moved into attention. It moved into skill. And the ones who understand that, they're winning. Fast. Here's the harsh truth. Age doesn't matter anymore. Degrees don't matter anymore. Discipline does. Speed does. Execution does. The world doesn't reward the smartest. It rewards the ones who move. Even when they're scared. Even when they don't know everything. If you can learn faster than others can complain, you're already ahead. If you can act without waiting for permission, you're already dangerous. Because today, the game isn't about how much you know, it's about how fast you can apply it. And while most adults are still trapped in outdated systems, college, corporate ladders, job security, you have something they never did. Leverage. You've got the internet, AI, automation, social media, and distribution platforms that turn ideas into money overnight. Your phone is more powerful than the computers billion-dollar companies used 20 years ago. And if you know how to use it, you're unstoppable. The game, how it really works now. Money flows where attention goes. It doesn't care about degrees. It doesn't care about seniority. It doesn't even care about fairness. It flows to creators. It flows to problem solvers. It flows to those who act faster than everyone else and who have the courage to look stupid before they look successful. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need to invent something no one's ever seen before. You just need to spot where the money is already moving and position yourself right in front of it.
That's the real game. Being early, bold, and relentless. You don't need a billion-dollar idea. You just need timing and the guts to execute before it's obvious. Look at how it happens. A teenager sees a new AI tool and learns it before anyone else even understands what it does. A 17-year-old girl starts a faceless brand on TikTok and gets 1 million views in a week. A kid flips digital assets, builds an audience, or creates viral edits, and suddenly they're out-earning adults with 20 years of experience. And while adults are still sitting in meetings, arguing over market potential, these kids are already shipping products, launching channels, and taking the profits. Why are teenagers outperforming adults? Because they're fearless. They don't carry the emotional baggage that comes with years of failure and self-doubt. They haven't been conditioned to play it safe. They don't fear looking dumb, they fear standing still. Older generations worship stability. They cling to it like a life raft. They call it being responsible. But let's be real, it's just fear dressed up in logic. They tell you to be careful, to be realistic, to get a secure job. But what's secure about spending 40 years building someone else's dream and calling that safety? Meanwhile, the young generation moves like lightning. They test 10 ideas a month, 9 fail, 1 explodes. That one idea pays for all the mistakes and changes their life forever. They understand something the old world never did. Failure isn't the end, it's just data. Every failed attempt is another step closer to mastery. They use risk as a weapon. They use time as their advantage. They use technology as leverage. While others complain about AI taking jobs, they're using AI to create 10 new ones for themselves. They automate, they delegate, they scale. They don't try to work harder, they work smarter. And here's the part that stings the most. The adults who call them lucky, those are the same adults who spent 10 years doing something they hate just to afford a lifestyle they don't even enjoy. They sacrificed their dreams for comfort. Now they mock the young for doing the opposite. That's the difference between generations. One was taught to survive. The other was born to disrupt. Mindset. What separates winners from everyone else? Success doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to the most consistent. The ones who show up when it's not fun, who keep building when it's hard, who keep pushing when no one is clapping for them. Motivation fades, excitement dies, but discipline, that's the real superpower. Millionaire teens didn't just get inspired. They built systems. They replaced distraction with obsession. They turned their focus into a weapon. They don't rely on mood. They rely on momentum. They don't chase the dopamine hit of a new idea. They chase the satisfaction of execution. They stopped chasing trends and started creating them. They realized that every great opportunity feels boring at first, because real growth isn't glamorous, it's repetitive.